Tristan with Nerdette's Newsstand, and as promised, we are going to continue Endless Winter, which is the event inside of the bigger event of death metal, and so far it has been wonderful. Now this video will have two parts, right? We are going to start with the Flash 767 and then go to Superman #1 and Endless Winter Special because they both came out in the same week. I am going to combine them. I think it makes much more sense, and honestly, it's a lot that is intertwined, so we might as well go over it, right? Now, both of these are by Marz and Alex Lanning, and honestly, I'm really enjoying this series so far. It does a good job of just being a straightforward superhero show, or comic, and it does a good job of just kind of getting to the point, having some action, and some great dialogue. So, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I will be finishing out this entire series, plus I do content every single day. Also hit like. Let me know in the comments below if you are reading Endless Winter, if you are enjoying it, or if you have no interest whatsoever. So, we start out and we are in 10th century in the Arctic Circle. And we are in Greenland, right? And we see two figures walk into this door and they are in search of somebody. Now, this ends up being Viking Prince and Hippolyta. I have a hard time saying her name, so I apologize if that is incorrect. I have always had a hard time saying her name. But they go forward and we realize that they are looking for Black Adam. Now, Black Adam does seem to be like he is going to be a big part or possibly the savior of this story, but you'll have to wait to see that into the next comic, and that is going to be just here in a minute. But they are all arguing, right? It's not working. They're all arguing, and we have Swamp Thing come in, and he's like, enough's enough. Enough's enough. Enough's enough. It may already be too late. We should have known better. And then we see the Frost King walk in all of his glory. And I absolutely love the coloring in this photo. It is beautifully done. The way they use the blues and almost make it look electric is wonderful. So they do talk about a little bit how this is rooted in the past. And now that he's unleashed, is it too late? Well, just maybe. So we go back to the current timeline and we see the Flash going. And he has snow all over him. He looks, a little worried there. And we see him talking. And he's talking about how he has to keep moving or it's like quicksand or he constantly will fall into the snow. And he's starting to lose his forward moving momentum. He's not sure if it's the speed force, if it's him. But these cold, rigid temperatures are affecting something, and he's not sure how much longer he can keep it up. And we do see across all the cities them fighting these giant ice monsters, right? We see Metropolis, Nairobi, Washington, D.C., Gotham, Amnesty, Beijing. We see everybody fighting as best they can, but with the winter, the endless winter in effect, they are not sure how they are going to fix this. And that is where we see Black Adam come in. Now, Black Adam goes to the United Nations in New York City, and he does a pretty good job of convincing them, at least in my opinion, that they need to do more, right? They are completely reliant upon the Justice League to save them, like always, instead of saving themselves. And unfortunately, it's not working this time. Justice League has no idea what to do, and neither do they. But he does say, if there's anybody that's in need of shelter, conduct is open. And I really like that about him. He's giving them giving refugees space to live and actually be safe. Maybe not from the winter, but safe as can be. So he says, do something about this. Deal with this threat before I have to. And then we are back to the Flash. And he is talking to John Stewart. And John Stewart says, hey, he showed up talking about Black Adam at the United Nations. Can you go talk to him? Kind of smooth this over because this looks really bad. It makes us look bad because we can't fix this. It makes him look bad because it makes us look weak, right? So he says, sure. And he heads to conduct. And as he's doing so, you can see him draining and draining some more, right? And as he's trying to get a hold of Iris and he can't, and it's kind of breaking up and he's not sure where he's at. Well, then he gets encounters some more of these giants, and these frost giants, these frost monsters, ice monsters, what have you, whatever you like to call them. They are just taking over. They are completely wiping him out. And then we see he's passed out. He's lost power. The Flash is officially out of commission until we see some bad guys save the day. I love that we see Silver Sable. Screaming Banshee. Wow. What is my mind on? So, she's one of my favorite. I love when she's utilized, so I'm hoping we get more of her. We see Catman and some of the others from the beginning, and of course, Black Adam, who takes him back to his palace, lets him rest, lets him sleep, and he wakes up. And I really like how they wrote him in this, The Flash. They did a good job of capturing that kind of silly personality, but still serious enough for what's going on, right? You know, he talks about, did I catch a glimpse of Multiplex and the others? Why are you keeping them? And Black Adam does go on to say, you know, look what's going on outside. You're not handling this. The storm rages and you've done nothing. And he tells him, you know, about him losing energy. There's an apple in there, and he eats it, and he says, you know what? I have an idea. You are out of power. How about I give you some? And he kind of, recharges his battery? He's like, yes, this worked perfectly. He's like, okay, well, if the Justice League needs help, you better come back here. And he's like, okay, well, we may have to take you up on that offer. So Flash gets to Central City, right? And we see Iris is taking on a few of these frost giants with her gun she stole from Heat Wave. It was in the Flash Museum. And he saves the day, of course, right? And then we get a cutesy little kiss. And we are on to Superman Endless Winter #1. Basically, her whole thing is, come back to me, right? Come back to me. That's all I ever ask from you. Take care of the people that need it, but you make sure you come back to me. I love them. It's so cute, right? So then we are going to go on to Superman #1. Now, this is just a special, right? And it was really, really good. I like the art. It was very reminiscent of like the animated series. You'll see towards the end. You can tell the two different artists. They use one for the flashback and one for current time. And in current time, it looks really cool. It feels kind of fun, right? Like Bold and the Brave style stuff. So we do start with the flashback here. And we are again in 10th century Arctic Circle, Greenland. Now, this man here is going to, at first I was like, wow, he looks like an older Lobo, right? No, he has a son named Magnus. It shows kind of a little moment between them where he's helping him ice fish, and he gets attacked. His son gets attacked and cries out for his father's help. He helps them because he has what, you know, we know now is some sort of cryogenic powers, right? He is the DC's version of Sub-Zero. So he cries out for his son and he is able to save him. He is, you know, and it makes an impact. It makes an impact they could not really count on. And everybody kind of goes around him and loves this guy. Like, he's keeping us safe. He's great. He knows how to use his powers. Or does he? He's the only one that has these powers. And unfortunately, he doesn't have anyone to help kind of train and utilize them. And then he goes crazy. Not crazy necessarily, but what we see is the endless winter coming in this town, right? The endless winter he cannot control, and he is not sure how. Does anybody else remember? Let It Go, or not Let It Go, Frozen. It's kind of the same thing. Remember Elsa couldn't control her powers, and then it was like love, and she figured it out. Yeah, he can't control his powers, and now there's an endless winter. It's not very original, but it's good. It's definitely good. So we see the village people come. Oh my God, it is Frozen. Fuck, I didn't even realize it till I started reading this. So we see all of the villagers come for him. And they're, pitchforks, lighted fire, they're going. And he basically wastes them. He basically lays waste to them, killing each and every single one of them. But Edwald, which is the Frost King in his human version, right? While he's taking these people on, they're shooting arrows at him. His wife cries out to him, and he realizes what happened. He realizes that this arrow that got through hit his son, Magnus, right? His son is gone. His son is dead. And it is nobody's fault, but unfortunately his own, because he couldn't control his powers, and he ended a fight with the villagers. Well, that is kind of the origin of the Frost King, right? So we're supposed to feel a little empathetic for him. Also, at the same time, realize, again, we're back to that one bad day, right? One bad day, you can go crazy, and that's exactly what he did. So now we are back in Metropolis in current time, and this is the art that feels very reminiscent of like animated series. And we see a ongoing commentary from Lois Lane. She's writing something, and we're kind of going along with that, right? But she is helping people get to safety. She is trying to help people get to safety. And she has an attack from the ice monsters. And, Superman does show up, and she talks about how he is hope for the city. But he also says, Lois, I can keep you safe. I can keep you safe at the Fortress of Solitude. And she says, no, you're keeping an entire city safe. Let me help these people while you help everybody else. And he's not really brilliant or in love with the idea, but he goes along with it. So it does end up working out. So he goes across the country. He's helping save people. He, just like the Flash, is starting to get worn down as things go on and on and on. Even so much so that he goes up top of the earth and kind of tries to figure things out, and he's unable to. Well, that's when he heads back to Smallville. And as he's heading to Smallville, he sees a bunch of ice monsters, about to his parents' house, right? And just as he goes to attack them, we see Crypto go through and take out the ice monsters. He is protecting Ma and Pa Cat. I absolutely love it. I really do. I think it's adorable. So he heads inside with Crypto, right? And he says, I can keep you guys safe at the Fortress of Solitude. And they're like, no, we've been through winters. We've got Crypto. We're okay. So everybody he's trying to keep safe wants to help somebody else. And I get it. So he basically goes through and gets some, maybe of what he needed, right? A little bit of a sit down, a little bit of a talk with his parents, and most of all, some hot chicken noodle soup. And he feels better. He does. And it actually works pretty well. So then we head to Gotham. Now, there is a little bit of a question here. If anybody knows, I would love to know the answer. When I see and think of Simon Stagg, I think of the old white dude that we saw in stuff like Arkham Knight and in the comics from before, but mostly from Arkham Knight, right? We got to see him in motion. It was a big deal, right? Now, in my previous video, in my first one, I said I thought this was an employee of Stagg Industries. No, come to find out here, he is actually the owner and sole proprietor of Stagg Industries. Now, is this a change? Did I miss somewhere that this was a change? Because I am confused a little bit as to how he went from some old white dude to an Indian dude. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I have no idea why this changed, but basically they find something in the ice, and he's a little confused, right? Because what we end up finding is in the ice is 3 people, and every indication is that they are still alive. I absolutely love that little cliffhanger ending. It's perfect, right? So this will continue next week in Aquaman number 66, and I believe there's 2 that comes out next week. I'm going to cover them always together. It just makes it a lot easier. But I do think this has potential to be good. Like I said earlier, I know this is a story we've heard before. But I feel like at some point this is being tweaked so much, it's actually really good. It does kind of feel like I'm watching Frozen all over again, and and the Frost King is actually Elsa, and we're gonna hear Let It Go pretty soon. I hope not. Anyways, let me know, of course, what you guys think about either of these books in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon and subscribe stars. You guys literally make this channel possible. Huge thank you to Cage the Mick, Robert Mick Twiz, Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris Z, David L, David Rafford, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Mighty Balls, Mike Buckner, Maizen Barbosa, Ruskar, Ryan Decker, Robert Hoffman, and Doc Holliday. You guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for all your support. Don't forget on the way out to like as always if you enjoy the content and hit subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.